I call to order this regular meeting of the Show Low Planning and Zoning Commission for Tuesday, February the 25th, 2025. Roll call shows that all commissioners are present this evening. We will begin with the invocation given by Commissioner Adams, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Wilson. If you'd like to join us, please stand.
Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for the opportunity we have to gather here on this day to be able to discuss the matters of our wonderful city. We ask that as we do so, that we might be able to have thy Spirit with us, that we could make decisions that would be pleasing unto thee and that would help the citizens of our community. We also ask that thou would send moisture on our dry lands, that our forests and our homes might be kept safe and out of harm's way. We're thankful for the opportunity we have to be represented and to live in such a wonderful country. And we're thankful for the many blessings that we have. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. If I can get around here. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now move on to new business. First item under new business is item A, public hearing and consideration of zone change request 605-03-124 submitted by White Mountain Bible Church to change the current zoning of the subject property from R27, single family and multifamily residential 7,000 square feet, to C2, general commercial, located at 3171 South Show Low Lake Road, Show Low, Arizona, more particularly described as a portion of APN 212-07-005C, and I will turn it over to Director Tregaskis for the staff summary report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. White Mountain Bible Church has submitted a zone change request for property located at 3171 South Show Low Lake Road, more particularly described as a portion of APN 212-07-005C, to change the current zoning of the subject property from R27, which is single-family and multifamily residential 7,000 square feet, to C2, or general commercial. According to Navajo County records, the property in question spans roughly 6.5 acres and was combined with parcel numbers 212-07005B, 007B, and 007C in October of 2019 to form parcel number 212-7005C. White Mountain Bible Church seeks to rezone the subject property to C2 in order to allow a church and church facilities as a permitted use. A proposal has been made for a new building covering approximately 19,500 square feet that will offer extra classrooms and a chapel with additional required parking. This property was rezoned from AR 43, or agricultural residential 43,000 square feet, to R27, single family and multifamily residential 7,000 square feet, in March of 2007 through ordinance number 2007-10 to allow for 70 condominiums on the subject property. The applicant received written statements from the adjacent owners who had no objection to the rezone. Additionally, a conceptual layout of the lot and building plans have been supplied by the applicant and are included in the review packet. Current zoning of the surrounding properties includes to the north C2, or general commercial, to the south A general or county, to the east AR 43, agricultural residential 43,000 square feet, and to the west C2, or general commercial. The current land uses of the surrounding properties include to the north White Mountain Bible Church, to the south Ponderosa Shadows, to the east Show Low Lake, and to the west vacant general commercial. Transmittal memos were sent to all affected agencies. No applicable comments were received. The applicant did receive written statements from the adjacent owners who had no objection to the rezone. Staff mailed letters to all property owners within 300 feet of the property, posted the property, and published public notice in the newspaper in accordance with applicable requirements. I will add, the staff report states that no comments regarding this request have been received since mailing of these letters and the posting of the property. I did receive a phone call this afternoon from an individual, again, with just general questions related to the request. They did not have any opposition to the application. After reviewing the standards for review, findings of fact, discussions with the applicant, the City of Show Low zoning and land ordinances, and the City of Show Low general plan, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve zone change request 605-03-124, submitted by White Mountain Bible Church to change the current zoning of the subject property from R27 to C2 on property located at 3171 Show Low Lake Road, more particularly described as a portion of APN 212-07005C, and forward this recommendation to the City Council, subject to the following conditions. Recommended condition is all development shall comply with all applicable federal, state, and local requirements. With that, staff as well as the applicant are available for questions. This has been scheduled for a public hearing.
Thank you, Director. I will open it up to questions for staff from the commission. Anybody's got any?
Sure, I'll ask one.
Gotta have something.
Yeah. Just want to double check with staff. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Did anything stick out? Any concerns? It seems sort of typical, I guess.
Not in this case. From staff's perspective, this is actually a decrease in what would be permitted on the property. Currently, they're allowed to do up to 70 condominiums. In this case, they're looking to do a church, a little bit of a parking lot will be required, and some sports fields associated with the school. So as far as use of the property, it actually seems to be less intensive than what's currently allowed.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Sure, Robert.
So that would indicate that there would be less traffic concern than there would have been if it had been 70 condominiums? Traffic is usually the biggest concern.
So with condominiums, you're going to get, traffic throughout the day, throughout the week. Primarily, you're going to see it in the morning and the evening with work patterns. With the school, you're going to see some traffic, again, with students, but probably not as much as associated with 70 condominiums. With the church, you'll see a little bit more traffic, probably more on Sunday, when residential traffic seems to be a little less. So there's kind of some trade-offs there, but in general, I would anticipate that the overall traffic impact would be less with the church than it would be with the condominiums.
I just have one question for clarification. Under the current R27 designation, is it a conditional use to put the church facility there, or is it not permitted at all?
So that was a conversation we had with the applicant. They had two options. One would be to just apply for a conditional use permit under the existing zoning. The other option would be to change the zoning to commercial, in which case a church and a school become a permitted use. Rather than have to go through a conditional use permit process and particularly the scheduling requirements, conditional use permit requires that you start construction within 12 months from when you get the approval and be completed within 18 months from when you get the approval. If they get the zone change as requested, that would negate that time period and allow them more flexibility in their start time.
Great, thank you. Any questions, other questions for staff? Any questions for the applicant? I have one. The applicant would come forward. I can't make you come out tonight, Rick, and not ask a question.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. It's an honor to be here, and we're excited about this project. My name is Rick Furneaux, representing White Mountain Bible Church, and we're excited to actually do this. Our goal is to have a facility that we can dedicate by spring to summer of next year, which will be the 40th anniversary of White Mountain Bible Church. So it's a goal of mine, and I'd certainly like to see that happen. So we just appreciate your consideration for our zone change. We're excited, looking forward to. I've had talks not with you, Mr. Tregaskis, but with other individuals at the city several years ago about even sharing facilities when we have possible sports field and whatever. I know there's kind of a shortage at times, and we'd like to partner with the city and make those facilities available for the public.
Great. You also answered my question. I was just curious on what the time frame was on what you guys were looking to do. That answers my questions. I know when you get ready for building, you'll get everything submitted to the city, and they do a good job over there at making sure everything's in order. So, yeah, thanks for coming out and for submitting this.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. All right, next I will open it up for the public hearing portion of this rezone change request. If there are any members of the public wishing to speak on this zone change item this evening, now would be the time. Just make sure you come up and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, we will close out the public hearing portion of the zone change requests, and we'll bring it back to the commission for any further discussion or a motion. Vice Chair Roberts.
I move to recommend approval of the zone change request 605-03-124 submitted by White Mountain Bible Church to change the current zoning of the subject property from R27 to single-family and multifamily residential 7,000 square feet to C2, which is general commercial, located at 3171 South Show Low Lake Road, Show Low, Arizona, more particularly described as a portion of APN 212-07005C, subject to staff recommendations, and forward this recommendation to the City Council.
I have a motion by Vice Chair Roberts. Do I have a second? I have a second by Commissioner Wilson. She beat everybody out. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that passes unanimously.
Mr. Chair, this item has been scheduled for a public hearing with the City Council next week at their regularly scheduled City Council meeting.
Thank you, Director. With that, we'll move on to item B, consideration of conditional use permit 602-04-270 submitted by St. Anthony Catholic School to allow for the expansion of their existing private school located at 1283 East Owens, that being APN 210-21-019A. And I will turn it over to Director Tregaskis for the staff summary report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. During its scheduled meeting on May 26 of 2009, the Planning and Zoning Commission approved CUP 602-04-125, permitting St. Anthony Catholic School to run a private school at 1400 East Owens. Condition 3 of this conditional use permit specified that a new CUP must be acquired before any permanent school structures are built, or if there is an addition or expansion of modular facilities. In addition, on June 11th of 2013, the Commission approved CUP 602-04-159 to allow continued operation and expansion of the school at the same location. As a result, St. Anthony Catholic School has submitted a CUP to allow for the expansion of its existing private school. The proposed site will be located at 1283 East Owens. It's directly to the west of their existing facilities, identified as APN 210-21-019A, and falls under the C1 or neighborhood commercial and R17 single-family residential 7,000 square foot zoning districts. Private schools are considered a conditional use in the R17 zoning district. A proposed multi-purpose facility spanning approximately 25,643 square feet will provide additional classrooms and include a gymnasium. In addition, a total of 39 new parking spaces will be constructed to meet the required code. The elevation is approximately 4 feet higher along Bushman Road to the proposed building site. So to clarify, Bushman is approximately 4 feet higher than what the building pad for the building would be. So the building sits lower than the road. Currently, St. Anthony Catholic School has 2 modular classroom structures situated to the east of the proposed location on the 1400 East Owens property, which they will continue to use. Access to the property will remain at the current entrance. No other access points are proposed. The school operates Monday through Thursday, 8:15 a.m. to 3:15 p.m., and Fridays, 8:15 a.m. to 12 p.m. Enrollment is approximately 150 students, and they intend to increase to a total of approximately 200 students. Current zoning of the surrounding properties includes to the north, C1 or neighborhood commercial, to the south, R27, single-family and multifamily residential, 7,000 square feet, to the east, C1 and R17, to the west, C1 and R17. Current land uses of the surrounding properties include to the north, south, and west residential, and to the east, neighborhood commercial. Transmittal memos were sent to all affected agencies. Applicable comments were received from ADOT. They will require a traffic impact analysis and statement. Also, there was a concern raised by staff regarding whether fencing separating the residential area from the property will be required. The property was posted and letters were sent to all property owners within 300 feet of the subject property. One phone call was received from an adjacent property owner asking whether the school would have an additional entrance on Bushman Road. And one phone call was received from another adjacent property owner just with general questions. No opposition was received. After reviewing the standards for review, the zoning ordinance discussions with the applicant, and because the request is consistent with the City of Show Low general plan, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve conditional use permit 60204-270 submitted by St. Anthony Catholic School to allow the expansion of their private school to be located at 1283 East Owens, that being APN 210-21019A, subject to the following conditions. Number one, all development shall comply with all applicable federal, state, and local requirements, including all requirements as applicable to school facilities and ADOT requirements. And two, solid material fencing shall be constructed along the west and north property boundaries where adjacent to residential uses. With that, staff as well as applicant are available for questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Director. Any members of the commission with questions for staff? Mr. Adams.
Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify with staff, the ADOT requiring the traffic impact analysis and statement. So if we go and approve it, and if they find an issue, what happens at that point?
So we felt this one was rather odd, just because the project is not adjacent to an ADOT highway. However, we do send out the transmittal memos and give people an opportunity to comment. The commission, really it's covered under condition 1, but we felt it was important enough to reiterate it as its own separate condition. You guys would be approving the school. If ADOT determined that there was something that was required out on South White Mountain Road, they would be responsible to comply with ADOT's requirements as well.
Okay.
Commissioner Wilson.
So the fencing is a recommendation and not a requirement?
So we are making it a recommendation to the commission. It's not actually a requirement by city code. However, because there are single-family homes there that back up to the property, we felt that that was appropriate to have that separation. We actually spoke with the representative of the project today regarding that condition, and they indicated that was something they were planning on doing anyway. If the commission voted to keep that condition as worded, it would become a requirement as part of this.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff? I have one, Director, just for clarification. So in kind of the history you listed out of the couple phases of conditional use permit that they have received, are we only seeing it tonight for this expansion because of that initial condition in the first conditional use permit, or any type of a change this substantial to a conditional use on a parcel would require to come back?
So the answer to that one is kind of twofold. Because the condition was originally put on that any expansion would require a new conditional use permit, you're seeing it because of that. You're also seeing it because it's an adjacent property that was not included in the original application that is zoned residential. So on the previous application, we had the applicant chose to do a rezone, and avoid the conditional use permit. On this one, we're seeing the exact opposite. They're choosing to go through the conditional use permit to avoid the rezone. So we're seeing both sides of the coin in two adjacent items on the agenda, so.
Thank you for the clarification on that. Any questions for the applicant?
I got the same one as timeframe.
Okay. If the applicant would come forward, just state your name and address.
Hi, Chairman and Commissioners, it's a pleasure to be here tonight. My name is Bob Higgins. My address 2459 Rim Road in Lakeside. And I'm happy to be able to answer any questions you might have. The time frame we have is we'd like to begin building late spring or early summer, depending on weather and things like that. And then we would anticipate, our contractor tells us that they'd be done within 1 year of the time that they started.
This year, like this.
Yeah, so we would start this spring in a couple months here now, and we would complete it within a year of starting.
So you're gonna beat the other congregation to it.
Yeah, that's the goal.
There you go. That's all I have.
Any other questions?
I have one for you. Obviously this is an expansion mostly of the school facility, if I'm understanding correctly, I know that it's related to the church, but not necessarily church facilities.
Right, it's just school.
And are you anticipating any substantial, I assume no, but substantial changes in what the schedule is going to look like with this new facility, or is it going to be pretty similar to what's existing?
Same schedule.
Right. That's all I have. Any other questions?
I don't have a question, just a statement. I just really think it's great that both of you are expanding that way. I think that's awesome.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
I'll now open it up. If there's any members of the public wishing to speak on this item of the agenda tonight, you may do so at this time. All right, seeing none, I will bring it back to the commission for any further discussion or a motion. Any motions? Commissioner Adams.
Excuse me. I move to approve CUP 60204-270 submitted by St. Anthony Catholic School to allow the expansion of their private school located at 1283 East Owens, that being APN 210-21019A, subject to staff recommendations.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second by Vice Chair Roberts. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And that passes unanimously as well. Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As with any conditional use permit, there is a 7-day appeal period. If no qualified appeal is received by the city clerk within those 7 days, this will be effective.
Thank you, Director. Moving on to item C, consideration of conditional use permit 602-04-271, submitted by Cody Lawyer to allow for Sholo Cafe to serve alcoholic beverages other than beer or wine at their location at 480 West Yusuf Clubs, that being APN 210-09-032A. And I will turn it over to Director Sagaskis for the staff summary report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Cody Lawyer has submitted a conditional use permit application to allow Sholo Cafe to serve alcoholic beverages other than beer or wine at their location at 480 West Dusa Clubs, that being APN 210-09-032A. The applicant is renting restaurant space from the property owner. The subject property is zoned C2 or general commercial. Restaurants serving alcoholic beverages other than beer or wine require a conditional use permit in the C2 zoning district. The applicant has indicated that the hours of operation will be Sunday and Monday from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Tuesday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. The City Council recommended approval of the applicant's application to the State Liquor Board to serve alcohol on October 15th of 2024. At the City Council meeting, the owner of Rocky's Lounge, which is in the same building and above the Sholo Cafe, objected to the liquor license application based on a non-compete clause in her lease. Disputes to rental agreements, including non-compete clauses, are not within the jurisdiction of the city, including the Planning and Zoning Commission. In accordance with city code, transmittal memos were sent to all affected agencies, the property was posted, and letters were sent to all property owners within 300 feet of the subject property. The owner of Rocky's Lounge came to the city regarding Sholo Cafe and spoke with representatives of the building department, asking questions regarding building code requirements. Building code requirements are also outside the purview of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Current zoning of the surrounding properties includes to the north, south, east, and west, general commercial. Current land uses of the surrounding properties include to the north, Days Inn, to the south, KK Express Wash, and a vacant commercial, which was formerly the Native New Yorker property and building. To the east, Mountain Motorsports. To the west, we called it the west, but we've got Rocky's Cocktail Lounge, which is directly above the restaurant, Days Inn, and vacant commercial. Transmittal memos were sent to all affected agencies. No applicable comments were received. The property was posted and letters were sent to all property owners within 300 feet of the subject property. We did receive a comment from the adjacent business owner who spoke with representatives of the building department. We also received a phone call with just general questions. After reviewing the zoning ordinance, standards for review, findings of fact, discussions with the applicant, and because the request is consistent with the City of Show Low general plan, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve conditional use permit 60204-271 submitted by Cody Lawyer to allow for Show Low Cafe to serve alcoholic beverages other than beer or wine at their location at 480 West Doosa Clubs, that being APN 210-09032A, subject to the following conditions. All development shall comply with all applicable federal, state, and local requirements. With that, staff is available for questions, applicant as well, and I believe our attorney has a statement prior to. So,
Would you like to go now?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to reiterate what Director Terrazas had indicated, that the Planning and Zoning Commission does not address leases, including non-compete clauses. So that's not what we're here for today. As well as, while the city does address building codes, that is not in the purview of the Planning and Zoning Commission as well. So we're here for a conditional use permit, and that's what we're going to address. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Atencio. I will open it up to the commission for questions for staff. Vice Chair Roberts.
I think it's prudent for me to make sure that we have transparency. I just need to disclose that I had previous conversations with Ms. Lawyer a few weeks ago. She was wondering why we were having to go through another hearing when she'd already gone through before the city council. And I recommended to her that she contact staff in the city to get answers to all of her questions in that respect. But I did want to disclose that we did have that conversation.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioner Adams.
Yeah, I guess just for staff, seems pretty typical. I don't see anything out of the ordinary here. Is there anything abnormal here that we need to be aware of, or is this pretty much in line with the other ones we've looked at?
So, from the city standpoint, I would say that this is pretty typical of what you guys have seen in the past. The commission will recall last July, we adopted changes to the zoning code. One of those changes was previously any restaurant that served any type of alcohol, including beer and wine, were required to get a conditional use permit, which is the process we're going through this evening. The change that went into effect last July broadened that out a little bit, gave business owners a little more latitude, in which if you were a restaurant that wanted to serve alcohol but were limiting to beer and wine only, that was a permitted use. You get your application approved through the State Liquor Board. There's no requirement to come through the Planning and Zoning Commission. In this case, the applicant is wishing to sell alcohol other than just beer and wine, which prompts the conditional use permit.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Any other questions for Any questions for the applicant? I don't have any. So I will open it up to if there are members of the public, and I assume since no one's left after the first two items, we might have one or two. I'll open up to members of the public. I just want to be respectful of everyone's time here this evening. So we are going to have an opportunity for people to come up and speak on this item on the agenda this evening. Just make sure when you come up, you're stating your name and address for the record. We are going to have a 3-minute limit on the statements per person, and so we'll have the clock over there to keep a record of that, and I believe Ms. Facto-Cotter is going to manage the clock for us this evening. Also, I know all of you probably have similar concerns and similar statements, so just to be respectful of everyone's time, I think it would be helpful if there could be some potentially designated people to come up and speak on some of those items, especially if there are multiple people who have some of the same concerns, to just expedite the process. We want to make sure everyone's heard and your concerns are heard, but we don't necessarily need to hear the same concerns by multiple people throughout the evening this evening. So I will open it up to members of the public, and we'll see who wants to go first. You could form a line in the middle for those who would like to speak. And just say your name and address for the record to start.
Okay, my name is Marshall Eva Mae Haverland Johnson. I live at 760 North Fork Drive, Shoalo, Arizona. I'm here to read this to you guys. Hello, City of Shoalo Planning and Zoning. Let me formally introduce myself. My name is Marshall Eva Mae Haverland. I'm the owner and operator of Rocky's Cocktail Lounge, located at 420 West Tusa Clubs, Shoalo, Arizona. The entrance to Rocky's Cocktail Lounge is located within the attic of the old Maxwell House here in Shoalo, Arizona. To gain access to Rocky's Cocktail Lounge, you must enter through the Days Inn lobby and go upstairs, not down the hallway. That's the Shoalo Cafe space. 3 businesses have all worked together in harmony together at this location for over 30 years, when the Tinney family owned and operated this property location. One has been the hotel, the second has been an upstairs bar for guests, the third has been a family restaurant located at ground level. All located within the Maxwell House owned by the Days Inn Hotel. The business design ensured all businesses did not compete against one another and thrive, and they have for 30 years. In recent years, the hotel and property was sold to Jack's LLC. The actual property owners of this company is Garlop, Gill, and Sandahu, along with their property manager, Haveri Bahati, had decided to honor this business plan for at least the duration of Rocky's Cocktail Lounge lease, while Rocky's Cocktail Lounge is under contract of occupancy. That is why there is a non-compete agreement within this that states, while tenant or an assignee or supplant approved by the landlord is using or occupying the premises for the permit use and is not in default under a lease, the landlord agrees not to lease space in building to be conducting in such premises the service as liquor, bar, sports bar, or entertainment. There is also a photo attached in the non-compete section of Rocky's Cocktail Lounge lease agreement that was obtained directly from the county assessor's website of the Days Inn property and shows that the non-compete lease agreement encompassed the entire Days Inn property and all businesses on the property of 480 West Tusa Clubs, Shoalo, Arizona. A lease agreement is a law-binding contract between landlord and tenant. When a law-binding contract is disregarded, it is breaking the law. When person, entity, or government branch knows that there is a legal binding contractual agreement
Ma'am,
between
if we
two
could
parties.
Finish
and
it up,
legal
please.
document-
We've hit
Okay,
the
I'm
3
almost
minute.
done. Legal documentations have been presented to the persons or entity or government branch. It should be honored, respected, and acknowledged. Doing anything else would be considered unlawful. If the city of Show Low and planning and zoning decide to deliberately disregard Rocky's Cocktail Lounge lease agreement, a legal contract, and help any person, or entity will inadvertently be an accessory to breach of contract, meaning accessory to a crime, which openly leaves the city open to lawsuit by abiding and abetting. The disregard to Rocky's Cocktail Lounge legal lease agreement, which has a non-compete, is giving the Show Low Cafe approval to serve, is in a direct violation of Rocky's Cocktail Lounge legal contract lease agreement and is lawful for the city to interfere with that. What is being proposed?
Your time's up.
Okay, so I just want to show this. You guys are saying that it's okay. I was trying to read that. I couldn't. I'm nervous. You guys are saying that it's okay to break the law because you guys don't have to say anything about it, but it's not okay to break the law. And I will sue you guys too if you guys are okay with that. You know, I have this is from the landlord,
Ma'am, your
right?
time's up.
Saying that you guys.
No.
Wait, Eva. The city attorney already stated very clearly,
I understand that, Gentry.
but you're not listening though, and I don't want to be curt to you, okay? But if you have a beef with your lease agreement and your landlord, which is clearly what you're after, it has nothing to do with us. Nothing.
How are you?
We're here on a conditional use permit
A legal lease agreement, a legal binding contract.
with your landlord and you and the cafe, not City of Show Low.
But you guys are
We didn't write it,
allowing them to break.
and we don't administer it.
But you guys are condoning it. You're
I'm
allowing.
not condoning it. We're here to say if she can serve alcohol, which the state said she can, and the City of Show Low already said she can. If you've got a discrepancy on your lease agreement, it's with your landlord who owns the rights to
Well,
your
this is what I'm
building
trying to
which
say.
you
Even
lease
my
from.
landlord, I am bringing this. My landlord is saying that they have informed the Show Low Cafe they're not allowed to serve alcohol too, but they're still. And these guys are in California,
Well, then
and
that's,
then they're
again, you gotta go to them. Get your lawyer on them.
and that's biased.
You clearly don't understand it, man.
No, I don't.
Let's move to the next person.
It's unethical. It's biased and unethical.
Hello, Sholo. James Simmons, 1000 North 22nd Avenue, Sholo, Arizona. All I want to say,
And before you get started, I just want to, we are going to try to keep to the 3 minute time limit.
short and sweet.
Great.
Handicap accessible. Every business needs to be handicap accessible. Rocky's is not. Sholo Cafe is. My grandfather's 100 years old. He can't go up and have a beer because those stairs are not code, and he can't walk up there and down. Sholo Cafe, he can. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person.
Thank you. Good evening, Director, Chairmen, Commissioners. I appreciate your time this evening. My name is Elizabeth Blevins, and I live at 2526 East 8th Sundown Lane in Snowflake. I am here to urge this board to deny the conditional use permit requested by Sholo Cafe to serve alcoholic beverages. There is a direct conflict with an existing business at the same location, namely Rocky's Cocktail Lounge. While this commission has no authority concerning the non-compete contract violation, it does have a duty to serve the best interest of the Sholo community. The Sholo Cafe will not suffer any financial hardship if it isn't allowed to serve liquor. It has been a very successful business venture for many years as a restaurant, and should have no problem continuing to do so without the need to serve liquor. However, approval of this permit would be extremely detrimental to another Show Low business, namely Rocky's Cocktail Lounge. Rocky's is a bar. Serving beer, wine, and liquor is their livelihood. Direct competition from the cafe for alcohol sales will cause financial hardship to the owners and their employees of Rocky's. It is my understanding that Eva Haverland, the owner of Rocky's, has reached out to Cody Lawyer, the new owner of the cafe, and offered to work with her to provide drinks to the patrons of the cafe. This offer was rejected by Ms. Lawyer. It is my belief if this permit is approved, it will result in financial hardships, lawsuits, and litigations for both businesses and the landlord, Jack's Ventures, of which the final outcome may be another vacant commercial space that could be hard to fill if the landlord has a reputation of not honoring his lease agreements. For this commission to knowingly approve or recommend a permit that causes conflict between 2 or 3 Show Low businesses would be a grievous disservice to our entire community. I recommend to this commission to deny the conditional use permit and maybe urge Ms. Lawyer to reconsider the offer Ms. Haverland made to her previously. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anna Quintanilla. I live at 2813 Kempa Drive, Lakeside, Arizona, and I am an employee over at Rocky's Cocktail Lounge. I am opposing the liquor license because, well, I work there. I am a bartender over at Rocky's Cocktail Lounge. If this liquor board, or whatever this is, gets approved, I'm going to lose my job. I'm not going to be able to feed my kids. That would do a great disservice to me and my family and along a lot of other people who work there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Laura Doty, and I'm with the group. I live in Concho, Arizona. I come in to Rocky's for karaoke and other events that are held there on a regular basis. I do not understand why we're here. This should have been taken care of a few months ago when the city council sat there and completely ignored everything that was said with regards to this mess with the liquor license. It never should have been approved. The liquor license, as Elizabeth has explained to you, should never have been granted. It shouldn't even been forwarded to them. Now I find out tonight that you guys don't have any power to do anything, to stop anything, when there is a discrepancy between 2 individuals. It comes to me that if you go ahead and approve this, what you're basically saying to the rest of the business community in Show Low is your contracts, your lease permits, etc., are about as useless as a piece of toilet paper that needs to be flushed down the toilet. This is unacceptable. I don't approve of it, and most of the people in this room don't approve of it. You are really hurting businesses, and you're sending out a terrible, and I do mean a terrible precedence to the business community of Show Low. Thank you.
My name is Jimmy Jones. Was I supposed to say anything else?
Address. Your address. Yes.
I'm representing Rockies, and I stand for everything that they stand for. And anybody that can't make it up them stairs, I'll be more than glad to carry them up and down. And thank you very much. Just give us the opportunity to be heard and understood. It's one thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Alyssa. I reside at 673 North 6th Drive, Show Low.
Everybody here has watched Cheers, right? Like, we grew up on Cheers. Cheers is like that family lounge that just locals come together and everything like that. People that have been in that community forever. Our town, Show Low, is based on our community, our familyness. Our culture comes from our neighbors, all right? Where Rocky's has been a family bar that resembles Cheers, even when it was One Eye Jack's, when it was far back to Capone's. It's always had this livelihood familyness. With this liquor license going to be put in place for Show Low Cafe, another organization that's been here for a very long time with JB's, Show Low Cafe for many years, they thrived and made money without the liquor license, perfectly fine. So why are we going to change something that our community, our Show Low, Arizona, has been, we were okay with, and we have been okay with? This is local. This is our tides, our everything. Why do we have to continuously change things up just because city folks want to come and make the changes? All I ask is today is for us to keep the little bit of what we still have in our heritage of Show Low, stay, because that's who we are. That's what we're supposed to represent. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
My name's Ian Watts. My address is 100 West Coley Street, apartment 132, Show Low. I'm just gonna say, the hours of for the alcohol to be served wouldn't even really affect their peak hours at all. So they wouldn't lose money. No bartender is gonna actually lose money during peak hours. Mind you, there's a lot of hard work going into every day. Cody's over there manifesting every day, being there working, paying out. She has to open. She has to make her money back. If she doesn't, then what? The cafe closes? How is that fair to her then? That's really all I have to say. I just hope you guys make the right choice.
Hello, my name is Mandy Dunlap. My address is 2120 West Park Valley Road, Show Low, Arizona 85901. I just wanted to address an earlier comment about a conversation where the cafe and Rocky's would collide and do business together. It is illegal for them to bring their bar beverages down to the Show Low Cafe. They are a separate business. It is not okay if that were to happen regardless. So I just wanted to clarify that it would not even be possible if that conversation had taken place.
My name is Joshua Doss. I live at 100 West Cooley Street, and as a local patron of Rocky's Cocktail Lounge and a previous employee of Rocky's Cocktail Lounge, they struggle very much to pull business in during the daytime hours, and there are very loyal patrons over there that go there just because of how the business is ran. It is ran very well and very safely. Everybody that goes there is thoroughly watched and made sure that they are behaving safely every single time that they enter that establishment. I would also like to say that it is home of a lot of great people who play pool and who sing karaoke, and a lot of heartfelt family that everybody loves over there. As soon as they walk in the door, the first thing you hear is, "Hey!" Like is immediate love the second you walk in that door. And I fear that with Show Low Cafe coming in downstairs, that they're gonna lose a lot of their daytime business, which is in the weekday primarily where their income comes from. The weekends are an exception when there are a short flux of people who do show up. And it is only 2 days a week where that business actually thrives. And Show Low Cafe would thrive every single day during the week, in the mornings in particular. It is a family cafe, and for that reason, I do not believe that it should have a bar in the cafe. I've been going there since I was a child, and to me, it would not be the same if it had a bar in it. Thank you. That is what I have to say.
Gordon Terracine, 861 North 33rd Avenue. Yes, I'm a patron of Rocky's, and I was a patron of Show Low Cafe before they closed. But here we are, folks. Don, Gentry, Jamie, Jerry, Josh, Doug, Zach. Common sense is where we're at. Think about the common sense that all these people have been saying to you. Do we really need hard liquor in another location in town? okay? A family restaurant. Think of your common sense when you vote for this conditional use permit this evening, okay? I want you to really drill down in your gut and think about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Peter, address 2120 West Park Valley Drive. As a former employee and patron of Sholo Cafe, I can't tell you how many people I've heard go in, visitors and local people, say that I wish I had a beer with my hamburger, steak, fish fried, about 24/7 whenever I'm there. I hear a lot of people asking for beverages. I feel like it would benefit both, especially if Cody had opened a bar. There's sports, and then when they close at 2, Rockies has the rest. I don't see what the problem would be, but I think it would be beneficial for both parties. But I believe Sholo Cafe does deserve the permit with the reputation itself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lena Hall. I live at 2241 North 22nd Drive in Sholo. As a small business owner who had corporate come in themselves and really hurt my business, I empathize very much with Eva and with the business that's going on there. This particular business is on top of each other, so there's even more of a conflict of interest. And I believe that if the city knowingly passes this, knowing that it's going to put a family out of business and put many members of this city and their families jobless, this is a moral issue, and I hope that you take that into consideration tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cody Rowe. I live at 200 West Cooley Street. I've been an employee at the Sholo Cafe for going on 7 years now. I have seen so many people come into that place, families, non-families, people just coming in just to grab a meal. The same thing as Peter said earlier, lots of people would be open to drinking just a beer with their meal, having a beer with a glass of wine with their steak. They can't go upstairs with their food and eat their food upstairs to have a drink. When they're done...
Give the gentleman at the podium the chance to speak.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So, the way I see it is if somebody was to go and have dinner and have a drink with their dinner, and they still wanted to continue to drink, what's to say that they can't go upstairs and have a drink afterwards? These are two businesses that could work together, not necessarily by providing food upstairs to the bar or drinks downstairs to the restaurant, but to bring business in together as a community and to grow as businesses in themselves. Sholo Cafe has been closed since November of 2023. Here we are in March of 2025. That's almost 18 months that she's been closed and out of business. During this whole time that she's been closed, due to no fault of her own, the bar has been able to be open and operate without any problems at all. If she's having financial issues, I feel like that's not really the Sholo Cafe's fault. If she's not been able to make money while she's had no competition, literally no competition open underneath her. When we open up, all we're trying to do is to grow as a business. That's what Cody as a business owner is trying to do, is to help this community grow, to see it flourish, to bring more money into our business, to bring more money into our community, to help everyone out. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Josh Johnson. I live at 760 North 4th Drive. Eva is my wife. As far as the law goes, extension of premise is in the same building, so it is okay. And as far as anybody from Sholo Cafe knowing when our peak hours are and what money we make and when we make it, they have no clue. And like they had said before, this has been two separate businesses for at least 30 years. One serves food, one serves alcohol, and they've done just fine. No issues whatsoever. So you guys, by allowing that, it's heartbreaking.
Good evening, Clarissa Finley, 41 North 5th Drive. I went to Rockies as soon as I heard construction was going on, and they also have put in a lot of work to that place. There was hardly any AC before. They got it blasting now, floors, everything they have put in, hard work too, with their own money. I've been a patron there since they opened, and you can tell how much they care. I've came in there and I'm like, ooh, a little tipsy. She's like, nope, go home. I'm like, okay. They are very caring people. Just, we love them to death. I think they do an amazing job, and it'd be great if you guys just said no. Thank you.
Hi. So my name's Lillian Herrera. I recently moved to Lakeside, but I've been a longtime Shola resident. With that being said, Shola Cafe has always been a staple in this place. It, like, hands down. Best chicken fried steak ever. I hope you keep the recipe because it's the shit, right? Pardon my language. But also that being said, upstairs has always been something different for this town and somewhere close by to go and hang out and a safe place. Never ever in the history of Shola has there been a building with 2 liquor licenses in it, and probably for a good reason, in my opinion. I feel like you guys might not have a say on the legal stuff about their lease or about the building, whatever, but don't you guys oversee the building committee? Don't you guys have a say in what's going on in this town? I feel like I feel like Shola Cafe has always thrived, and it always will, because it's Shola Cafe. As long as she keeps it how it was and how it should be, or how we are used to it, it's always thrived, and it will. They don't need an alcohol license on top of another one, or underneath of another one, I should say, to thrive. Let her serve a mimosa, whatever type of thing, but there's lots there to go on, and I feel like Shola Cafe has always been good, and they don't need hard alcohol with their food menu. Thanks.
Anyone else? Sure. Try not to make it a thing.
No, I won't. So, as a previous employee of Rocky's Cocktail Lounge, I was in charge of watching the alcohol consumption of every individual that came in there. And it is a very big problem with somebody coming from another bar, previously drinking, to another bar where they're trying to be served. And if they're being served downstairs and they are not stopped when they need to be stopped, they will continue to go upstairs and then keep drinking. You know, and so then it becomes a problem of them having to sift through all these people who have already been drinking through the night. And that just can be a very touchy problem.
Thank you, sir. All right, seeing no one else in line, I'm going to bring it back to the commission for further discussion or motion or. Vice Chair Roberts.
I make a motion. I move to approve CUP 602-04271, submitted by Cody Lawyer to allow Shola Cafe to serve alcoholic beverages other than beer or wine at their location at 480 West Deuce Clubs, that being APN 210-09032A, subject to staff recommendations.
I have a motion from Vice Chair Roberts. Do I have a second? I have a second from Commissioner Adams. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, that passes unanimously. Director Tregaskis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As previously mentioned on the other conditional use permit, there is a 7-day appeal period. If no qualified appeal is received by the city clerk within 7 days, this will become effective.
Thank you, Director. Moving on to item 6, call to the public. If there's any citizen wishing to speak on a matter within the jurisdiction of the Planning and Zoning Commission that is not on the agenda this evening, you may do so at this time. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 7, approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion on the approval of the minutes from the Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting of January the 14th, 2025? I have a motion by Commissioner Wilson. Do I have a second? I have a second by Commissioner Whipple. All those in favor say aye. Aye. That passes. Summary of current events. We will begin with Commissioner Willis.
I just want to say, if anybody doesn't know, you can go in the Show Low Chamber of Commerce and you can look at their event calendar, and there are all sorts of amazing events that they have out there. I think we have a food expo coming up Friday and Saturday. I think there's a construction interview stuff going on at MPC. There's a construction fair in March. I mean, there's all sorts of fun things going on. So if you ever want to know what's going on in the city of Show Low, the Chamber of Commerce is a really great place to check.
Great day in Show Low.
I got nothing to say. It's great. Just be fire conscious, folks, please. It's getting worse.
For me, same on the fires. It's been super dry. It's kind of scary dry, so everyone be careful out there. Let's be careful in our forests.
The fire department did a presentation to the city council last week and indicated that we are at the highest fire danger level that we have ever been, which puts us on alert. We need to make sure that our properties are well taken care of. I know that a lot of properties in fire-prone areas now are getting insurance policies canceled, and new buyers of homes are not able to get new insurance policies if the community is rated that high. So we need to do whatever we can to make sure that we do not suffer our properties and our forests. Everything needs, that is our number one concern right now for safety for this area.
Yeah, I can't echo those sentiments enough and don't have anything to add to that. Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one item regarding scheduling. We do not have any items for the next regularly scheduled Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. That happens to fall during spring break for those of us who still have kids in school. So we will be posting and following all the official procedures, but wanted to inform the commission that we do not have a meeting scheduled in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Director. Seeing no other items on the agenda, I will adjourn us.